Yeah.
do the entirety.
All right, brother. You ready for this? Oh shit.
KG, what is it, the news?
How's that? How's
The
that?
news channel.
Yeah.
Did I tell you me and my twin were on it?
No.
And
What were you guys? Did you guys for like a living 808 kind of thing?
no, you know at the end of the news where they have people saying chaka?
Yeah, they still do that.
Yeah, I haven't watched the news long time, so I forgot that it's like 10 minutes. It feels like they just filmed you right for like a solid minute.
Yeah.
So me and him were just like this for like.
You're like, when is this gonna be done?
Yeah.
Oh, can see ya. Can see.
Yeah.
All right, brah.
Yeah.
Can you see my camera over here too? Can I?
Yeah.
A little bit. That's all right.
What should we look at? I mean.
No, we're just gonna be looking at it. We can. You can look at me if you like. Oh yeah.
Shoot.
You ready, brother?
Yeah.
Ryan.
Hey, good seeing
Good
you.
to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
This is the second episode of Pise Capital interviews.
Nice.
I'm actually very excited because you're a pretty funny guy. You're awesome. And today we're going to talk a little bit about home inspections. And we have a sort of a format, but it's like super lax. You know, we're going to be about 10 minutes or so. But I think in the beginning, let's get a little bit about your background, a little bit about your experience and how you got into the home inspection industry.
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Oahu, and I moved away to California.
Oh, you get your stuff on. Yeah, go ahead, keep going.
No, okay.
Okay.
You can start over.
No worries. We're good. We're good.
yeah.
This is super lax, right?
Yeah, my background. Yeah, born and raised here, and I moved away to the mainland, and working in California, and I was doing construction for 2 companies, different times.
Mm-hmm.
Just working under a general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So we did custom homes, like foundation work, driveways. I was bending rebar in 100-something degree weather,
That sucks.
and whatever, installing fences and gates, and redoing kitchens, demo work, which is fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And doing that, and then one of my coworkers asked me, "Oh, do you want to do home inspection?"
Right.
And so I, just said, yeah. He's like, "My boss will train you. You don't need experience." And do on-the-job training with him right away, kind of thing.
Right.
So just jumped into that.
So what was the kind of the impetus that brought you from construction into home inspection? Was it, is this like an industry that you said, hey, get me out of that 110-degree weather? So
Pretty much. I really enjoyed construction because you work with your hands and you get to see things completed, and
Yeah.
But it was my dad's a retired plumber, so 40 years, and you just see the toll it takes on your body and all that kind of stuff, and the labor. But I was actually looking into appraisal.
Yeah.
So I was looking into that, and then because this opportunity came up, I was like, hey, it's a good maybe stepping stone, or it's in the industry, so let me try this out.
Right.
And then I just stuck with it, and it's been like 13 years.
13 years.
2005, so about 13 years now.
So you were kind of at the cusp, like at the very height of the industry boom, and so you must have been really busy.
Yeah. So 2005.
Yeah, give us an
crazy.
example of a schedule when you first started, because you're learning, but yet you have to ramp up production.
Yeah. So we're doing 3 to 4 full home inspections every day.
Really?
Yeah, single-family homes, townhouses, condos, but mostly single-family homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're doing 3 to 4 a day, we're working 12-hour days, no lunch breaks. It's pretty crazy, and we could only give about 2 hours to every home inspection.
Really?
And that's one thing that made me want to start my own company, is because you can't devote 2 hours to a home inspection and walk away with a good product or a thorough inspection. You know what I mean? Like, we all kind of knew we weren't doing the best that we could, but with those companies, honestly, it was about the money. So these are kind of more chain companies, franchises, multi-inspector companies.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And plus the market was heated, so it's like if you don't service, you don't get the call to do it again.
Yeah.
So they're worried about production
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
But like
so-
12-hour days,
Yeah.
no lunch break. That's crazy.
Yeah, at least 10 hours. We come back and work on reports after that, after 4 inspections, 3 to 4.
Right.
So my experience from on-the-job training, it just like, I mean, it was like, you know, non-stop, I guess you can say, and real extensive. I mean, just thrown in there. Yeah, so it was good. One of the requirements for getting your membership for certification is 250 home inspections
Okay.
on your own. So I got that like within a year or something.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, whereas it can take other home inspectors up to 5 years to get that
Okay.
experience. Yeah.
So, you know, you mentioned you were in California and it was a certification. But in California, was it state certified or was it association certified? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, especially we're going to talk about this further, of how Hawaii's thinking about
Yes.
certifying. But in California, was it a state certified inspector?
No, so Hawaii and California doesn't require licensing,
Okay.
and then the certification just comes from the association.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one association that has high, I guess, education and experience and testing
Okay.
requirements,
Right.
and that's ASHI, American Society of Home Inspectors.
Okay.
So the other associations, you can go online and you can take a test. It's
Okay.
basically an open book.
Right.
Google test, Google the answers test, and
Okay.
get your certification, be a home inspector with no experience, which can be pretty scary. But the difference between California and Hawaii is that in California, the real estate agents were kind of knowledgeable about what association was credible.
Right. Right.
Whereas in Hawaii, buyers don't know. A lot of real estate agents aren't familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of the Wild West out here, to be honest. Like there's
Okay.
nobody asks if you're certified and by who.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll jump forward, but I wanted to take this up in the end. But since we're on the
Yeah.
topic of state licensure,
Uh-huh.
what are your thoughts about that? I mean, you mentioned it's a Wild West.
Yeah.
Is this going to bring a little bit more order into the industry?
It will. So the people opposed to the bill
Mm-hmm.
is saying it's not going to do anything.
Okay.
But if you can imagine, if we deregulated electricians,
Okay.
what would that do, right? It'd be pretty
Mhm.
crazy, right? So,
Right.
with the bill or with the licensing, there's certain standards that you have to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So either it's experience, education, and certification, or also the national exam is what it's going to be based on mainly.
Okay, so there is a national standard then
Yes,
for states.
for the states, yeah.
Right,
And they
okay.
usually adopt that exam. So yeah, like you said, it's a national standard. So it kind of just shows that you have that knowledge,
Mhm.
you know, that basic knowledge, I guess you can say, of all the different components of the home.
Does it matter? Because you know in Hawaii we have a lot of these plantation homes, single wall homes.
Mm-hmm.
The construction style is very different
Yes.
compared to that of the mainland. And I know different regions in the United States have different styles of construction,
Yeah.
but mainly it's kind of similar.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
How does that? And I'm sure they're going to make adjustments in the testing for our old single wall homes. Do you think that might be one of the things that be added?
That was proposed in the original bill,
Right.
but and I thought it was good to do that because Hawaii's so different now.
Yeah.
Tropical climate,
Mm-hmm.
different pests, construction methods, yeah, single wall
Right.
for
right.
one,
Right.
and then tofu block
Yeah.
posts, you know. And
Right,
So yeah, it's going to be included. It should be in the exam.
Mhm.
So we're proposing 2 exams: the national exam, but also an option to take a Hawaii kind of based exam.
Okay.
They're built toward the Hawaii, you know, kind of construction methods, and more geared to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I took the national exam, I had to learn about oil burning, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, appliances, and we don't use oil. That's all East Coast, right?
Right. Right.
So I was learning things that weren't applicable to even California,
Mm-hmm.
and there's things in California that aren't even applicable to Hawaii.
Right. Right.
So there's a lot of extra studying that's not necessarily needed
Yeah.
to become a home inspector in Hawaii. So I think it'd be good to have that option.
So it sounds to me that in order to be a home inspector in Hawaii, you can just kind of just slap the home inspector logo
Yeah.
next to your name. You don't need any kind of credential.
No, and some inspectors don't even have any association,
Okay.
and so they don't even promote their company as being certified, just home inspector. And they say we're based on ASHI standards,
Right.
but they're not required to follow the standards because they're not members.
Oh, I see.
It's almost like false advertising. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
follow ASHI standards, but they're not members. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah,
In
so-
order, but they use the name in their
Yeah,
promotions.
it's
Is that illegal? I mean,
Yeah, it's for ASHI. You're not supposed to use their logo,
Right.
Their name, unless
Right.
you're a member. Yeah, and then there's different levels of ASHI certification. Associate, and then certified there's 3 levels actually, but so yeah, to become a certified member, it takes passing the national exam, 250 home inspections on your own,
right.
paid, and then what is that? National exam, inspections, and then passing some tests like the standards and practices, and yeah.
Do you think the state is going to adopt not only the national, but they're going to look at the ASHI standards and say, well, we're going to pick and choose what's
Yeah.
relevant to us?
Yeah, so they're probably gonna just base it off the ASHI standards and maybe add some other standards in there.
Right.
Yeah, relevant to Hawaii.
Do you? So it looks like you know. I think with agents they can go to a class, but as an inspector, it feels like you have to train under somebody in order to understand the mechanisms going into an inspection. So
Yeah.
are we going to see a class for home inspectors soon? I guess that's the question.
No, it's not required.
Okay.
Yeah, to get the class. So one of your questions was, how do you become a home inspector?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about there's no licensing or even certifications requirement. So
Right.
you literally be a guy who flies over, and you just have experience as an accountant and just start a home inspection business. Like you said, get a logo and start it. But I guess the proper way to do it, the steps, is to get educated, and that would be like American Home Inspectors Training Institute.
Right. Right.
You go through their kind of exams and you learn about roofing, electrical, plumbing, the different components, structural, and you have to pass that. And that exam is it's all geared to passing the national exam, right?
Okay.
So it's like a prep school kind of thing.
Right. Right.
And they offer in-class schooling and also like distance learning, right?
Right,
Because in
right.
Hawaii, there's no school for that.
Right. Right.
So that's an option that should apply to the licensing, right?
Right.
Education.
True. Yes.
And then also experience and insurance, I believe, will be required. And also your certification. If you're a part of ASHI, you probably just roll into it because all those
Okay.
things are required of you to be a member of ASHI. So once you get that schooling, then you graduate from that school.
Okay.
You take the national exam, which is like a third-party testing facility. You're not doing it on your computer.
Right. Right. Where you can look it up at.
Yeah. They take away your cell phone. You're in a soundproof booth, and you either pass or fail. And
They'll tell you then and there.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I passed, I was doing like cartwheels in the hallway. Yeah, I was pretty excited. Just because the standards in California are so high, right?
Yeah,
As far
yeah.
as home inspection,
Right.
what the agents look for. So, I passed the national exam, I guess, about 2 years into my home inspection
Okay.
career.
Right. Because you had to accumulate the hours,
Yeah.
get the education,
Education.
and then take the test.
Yes, so
So-
it's a process. but
Right. And that prepared you to eventually come down to Hawaii
Yes, yeah.
and start your own business, which is forefront inspections, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, why did you decide to come back to Hawaii? I mean,
Oh, just being born and raised here, and my family's here, friends,
right.
the weather, everything about Hawaii, the culture, and then I grew up surfing, right? So
Yeah. There's no surf in Cali.
there is, but totally different culture, right?
Mhm.
So just coming home, and then on top of that, I knew I could do a better job than what I was doing at those multi-inspector companies.
Right. Right.
So for instance, in Hawaii, I will only do one house a day,
Okay.
whether it's a 1,500 square foot house or a 8,000 square foot or whatever it is. That actually might take 2 days, but because I don't want to rush the client.
Yeah.
So some guys, they're back to back. They will do multiple single families a day, and they have to leave at a certain time.
Right. Right.
So feedback is like they feel rushed. They don't get all their answers, their questions answered. And it's a big process. It's a big step for them, right? The biggest investment of your life is most likely your home purchase. So I don't want to rush them, and I just want to present them with the best home inspection I can give them.
I think one of the questions I wanted to bring up is what makes you different. Like, and I've worked with you for a little bit, and I've seen you conduct yourself and like interface with the client, which I thought was amazing. You stay there, you answer questions, which is right. I think one of the other things that makes you special is that you start implementing technology into your inspection. I thought that was really cool. Can you like talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in Cali, part of it's probably cost, but we had a pen and paper, screwdriver, and a camera to document, and that was our technology. I fought for GPSs just to get to the inspection on time. But so coming home, first thing I invested in was I think it was like a $7,000 infrared camera.
Okay.
And then some people offer that, but they're not certified as a certified thermographer. Infrared thermographer.
So you need a certification to do that type of analysis?
Yeah, so it was a 5-day, 8-hour course, 40 hours total, and it's about $1,000.
Okay.
And so I invested money into my technology, my equipment, because I know it works.
Right.
You're going to be able to see things that you're not going to see with the naked eye.
Right.
And then you verified it with with a moisture meter. But I use this thing, so this is it.
Is that the flux or is that the sweep or something? FLIR.
FLIR.
Okay.
So these guys invented thermal technology for military, and now they design cameras for kind of like residential real estate type use.
Right.
And I went from this big thermal camera, like I said, $7,000 to this handheld, fit in your pocket kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the temperature ranges are scaled down. It's not for commercial use, but it's perfect for residential, like I said.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen some Amazon of where they can see like deer.
Oh yeah.
Those are, I think, a little bit more excessive than just residential thermal imaging, but they were like, you could project it and see way far out.
Yeah, this can see 5 miles out.
Really?
Yeah, you can see deer and all that too.
That is pretty awesome.
I don't know if you can see, probably not, but you can see my arm. My hand's kind of, I guess it's clammy, it's cold in here. But
wow.
Yeah,
that is pretty
you've
cool.
seen this, but
maybe we'll take a shot of that after.
Yeah.
Get people so is that the one you?
Here's Mana. For all you ladies.
Oh.
Hey, he's hot, brother. He's reading off the chart.
You know that. No, but like I've seen the ones where you can attach to your iPhone or Android, and it runs about $200 or so. That one looks like a little bit higher grade on that one.
So those the thermal range, the temperature, the scale, it's too low. It's not going to read certain appliances, HVAC and cooktops and even electrical. I won't get into that range where it's considered a fire hazard or a red flag for a breaker or electrical wiring outlet. It won't get that higher temperature, so it's not good for home inspection now.
So those are like if you're just playing around.
Yeah. Looking for a deer. Dang it. Looking for a kangaroo in Kaliki, right?
Yeah, I guess so. The wallabies.
The wallaby.
Yeah, they have in the promotions of that. You get you can swipe pictures, and then there's like this image of a burglar, like the infrared image of this.
Yeah.
Catch burglars and deer.
Yeah.
Like
it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I use that, but I also use other equipment, if you don't mind.
No, please.
So like drones.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I seen you do that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Drone technology is great when you have like a 3-story, you can't get up there.
Right.
Our standards and practices doesn't require you to even actually go on a roof.
Right. So this is an extra service you provide to a lot of people.
Yeah. So I don't charge for any of this. It's all included in the service.
Right.
Drones, moisture meters, specific equipment for specific issues, right?
Right.
Most guys might, like I just did an inspection where the toilet was leaking upstairs.
Yeah.
The plumber actually had a moisture meter, but his was reading like way off, right?
Okay.
and mine was showing a scale from 0 to 99.9.
Okay.
So it's just totally different equipment, right?
Right.
I mean, I always try and get the best equipment because if you're gonna call something out that it's an issue and they're gonna tear open drywall.
Yeah.
You wanna
make sure it's the right thing you're calling out.
So,
and it seems around those areas, especially the wax and for toilets, tends to be those areas you don't want to mess up, especially in buildings, because you need access from underneath, and interrupt people's lives is not good.
Yeah, and you're dealing with condominiums, so the person above you, you gotta knock on their door or the manager, and then involve their insurance company. So it's a process and a headache. So making sure you make the right call, and so just getting the right equipment, investing in your equipment. I've tried to help out other home inspector, and she refused to invest in equipment.
Really?
Yeah, and she's just starting off with the pen and paper kind of thing.
Oh no.
So
I mean, this is the new technology is getting so much better and cheaper. We should convert over to technology stuff.
Yeah, and actually that's the meaning of the name of the company, Forefront, is just to kind of be at the forefront of technology and home inspection in the industry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the little thing.
Oh, that's kind of deep, man.
Nah.
Wow, it's
I
just like
it sounded cool.
It's like a philosophy and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I think some of these, I know we're gonna kind of wrap up soon, but some of these viewers, they want to know, what do you look for for home inspection? I guess I don't know how to better phrase it. I mean, I think they're worried whenever somebody comes into their home, like, is he gonna find something that's really bad? I mean, what are your thoughts about just the home inspection in general? Like, what would you say?
Well, as far as people being afraid or whatever, I think my philosophy, I guess, is it's better for everybody involved, all the parties, to know the condition of the home. So that's what home inspection basically is, to evaluate the condition of the property and report on it during that snapshot time frame we're there, less than a day, right?
Yeah.
So reporting it accurately, because it protects the seller, for one, the buyer, the real estate agent, even me. Right. So if you don't report things, or if you don't take your time to do a thorough job, and you miss something, it's going to show up eventually, right? Either when the buyer moves in or during the transaction. And I don't. So the thing is, how do you communicate that, right? The issue. Because there's a lot of fear involved. It's your new home, it's your dream house. The seller's afraid you're going to find something. The agent's afraid you're going to blow the deal. Everything's on you.
Yeah.
So what I do is, I find it, but you have to communicate well, and you don't sugarcoat things, but you offer solutions. So say there's a roof leak. Or whatever the issue is, like a plumbing drain leak at the toilet, the wax ring. So it can be scary, right? Oh, it's leaking. Right. But the solution is like a $5 wax ring. You know what I mean? So I just give them different solutions. Obviously, the different specialists are going to have different options they can take. Buy a new toilet or just change the wax ring. So I let them know that there's different options and the different costs involved. We're not held to that cost because we're not contractors, but and then they feel comfortable about it because they know that they can get it done, and the ease, or the process it'll take,
I think your part of your job was, in communicating, you're clearing the confusion, because a lot of people are just afraid of what's going to be discovered. Is it gonna tank the transaction? Is it gonna find something that's I can't fix, or something? It's just too expensive. But it's like you said, it's about telling the truth, telling everything out, and then trying to figure out, giving them options of how to fix things, or what are your options later on. I think that's really awesome about that. And so when majority of your work, is it towards like real estate transactions, or is it? I would assume it is, but are there other instances where you are called in for?
So
your services?
Mainly buyers in the real estate transaction will hire us.
Right.
What's interesting is in the mainland, I'd say at least 50% of sellers, probably 60 to 70%, would hire a home inspector for full disclosure. So they would, before listing the home, they get a home inspector, get a report. So when the buyers come, they actually present the report. And say, we did our due diligence. But in Hawaii, I guess maybe it's a seller's market. They don't have to do that.
Right. Is
Everything's
it
as is.
is it because do you think that's a great practice? I mean, does the buyer come in even though they have the full disclosure from the seller side? Do the buyers still come and bring in their home inspector?
Yeah.
Okay, so they kind of want to just marry the two reports together.
Yeah. So the buyers will still get a home inspector, and for their, sense of mind, security.
Right.
And then, but I also do, and I don't advertise for this, but
Right.
I mean, I have done maintenance inspections.
Okay.
But I guess, for example, my friend on the North Shore,
Yeah.
he had to move out of his house because of a leak and other issues. So I'm gonna go help him out and let him know what's wrong with the home, so they can completely fix whether it's structural, roof, plumbing.
Right.
So
I mean, is
we'll
it
see.
is it primarily just real estate, or do you do like maybe for litigation? Sometimes people call you, hey, can you inspect? We're having
Yeah.
problems between these two. We need a neutral party.
Haven't been called to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And I usually try and stay out of legal kind of.
Smart man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, legal issues. Yeah, it's not, I guess, the best to jump into the middle of it. Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think a lot of people are just curious as to what this, what different roles can a home inspector play, right, in different situations.
Yeah. So actually, I just do buyer's inspections.
Right.
Yeah.
And how much does a usual inspection cost? Like, let's say a normal house, 1,500.
Average square foot, 1,500. I think most inspectors are charged about 500.
Okay.
So depending on garage, carport, the lanais and stuff.
Yeah.
I include all of that. Most inspectors are supposed to include all that.
Right.
I'd say on average.
Did that turn
shut
off?
down. It looked like it shut off.
Is the red? Oh, you son of a gun. That's all right. We'll go ahead with this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this one's fine. This one's still going. Yeah.
So I charge on average about $100 more than most home inspectors.
Right.
Because you're not just paying for the home inspection, but like we went over all the certifications, all the stuff I had to jump through, the extra time I took and money I took to go through the schooling, to pay for the association. Even my reports are the most expensive reports and the most kind of advanced as far as PDF and whatever images and also the education.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
insurance.
You got to equip yourself, and all that knowledge is valuable. I think one of the other services I thought was really cool about you is that you got the report out lickety fast, super fast.
Yeah.
I was amazed at that.
Yeah, so while I'm at the inspection, I'm actually writing the report, or everything's being entered in automatically into the software. And then I still go home and I'll work on a single family home. I'll at least work on the report for 2 hours. Because it's not like a cookie cutter report. I customize the report for every home. Because every home's different. So I wouldn't expect someone just to check things off and then, hand you it.
I've seen that before, actually.
Yeah, carbon copy reports sometimes, or on the spot. But I take my time with it, so that's why it costs a little more. Yeah, for the time.
Are home inspectors supposed to walk the roof, or is that it's just a service that you provide?
Yeah, so
I mean, not like walk the roof, but like in the attics, crawling through trusses and rafters.
They should, if it's accessible.
Okay.
But what people will consider inaccessible is if there's no catwalk, they might not crawl it. If they can't fit comfortably through the access, they won't crawl it. They'll just look through the hatch, if anything, and kind of call it inspected. But you really have to walk to the corners of the entire attic to catch that bird's nest, the water leaks, the rafter ties. Sometimes they're incomplete. I mean, just all kind of electrical issues could be at the very far end. Yeah, so you gotta crawl it. You can't just call it. You
can't just like flashlight that sucker all the way to the edge.
Yeah.
Oh man, I appreciate this, but before we go, let's talk about VEKTOR real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanna. If you guys don't know, well, Ryan also owns VEKTOR boards, right?
VEKTOR Systems.
VEKTOR Systems.
It's a bodyboard and fin company. So these mini skegs that go on the bottom of surfboards and bodyboards.
Okay. So you're a home inspector and a big time surfer / boogie boarder.
Yeah. So I used to be sponsored, and I'm all in the kind of in the surf industry, and that's what I was doing before even. And before, I mean, since I was a kid,
Right.
you know, being sponsored by different companies and stuff. So it's just a passion of mine.
Right. But your main thing is definitely
Yeah, home
the home
inspection.
inspection. Go check him out, please do. And
Right on.
how do they find you?
Website?
Yeah, website, contact
Yeah.
information. I'll have it linked in the description box.
Okay. forefrontinspections.com.
Right.
Yeah, and the link will spell it out. but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the website. My
Okay.
contact information is on there, and
Okay.
or hit up Mana. But yeah,
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want us to, like I told you, we're going to have maybe a mold inspector the next interview. Maybe a question. You can leave me a question on the box, or anybody is welcome to leave a question for that mold inspector or for Ryan.
yeah.
If Ryan if somebody has a question for Ryan, I'll pass it over to him and I'll get back to you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, so, well, for home inspection, I like how Mana's taking these different specialists or trades and interviewing them, because we do specialize in different things. Whereas, I would be weary of some inspection companies that do everything.
Right.
Pool, mold, testing for lead. I mean, just a lot of services. I just try and simplify and specialize in one thing. Focus on that. I would hire a mold inspector, environmental inspector.
Right.
I would hire different specialists. So
Right.
yeah, you got the right idea. And for home buyers, I recommend that too.
Well, I recommend Ryan to you guys. He's an incredible guy.
Thanks,
Really
man.
up and up, and love to have him again later on.
Shoots, man.
All right,
Okay,
brother.
thank you.
Awesome.
Good, man.
Thank you for the second episode.
Yeah.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it was
Pretty fun, huh?
painless.
Yeah. Yeah.